Hey Queen, so I am back with another story time. Mr. Robot video will be up Thursday as always. If you like the Mr. Robot videos or these story times, just know that most videos will be on delay. Because next Monday I start college again, my sophomore year, so yeah, expect a delay in videos. But anywho, today's story time is gonna be basically about the most interesting group of algebraic, geometrical, mathematical people you could really think of. I really didn't know where I was going with those words. So from freshman year to senior year, I think, hopefully, I know one of them I had like 2 years in a row, basically beginning and end. So hopefully I don't get that mixed up. But basically, okay, let's start with freshman year. So I was in like this pre-AP class or something like that. I don't really remember. I think it was like a pre-AP class or something. I don't know. It was for Algebra 1, I think. So I had this one teacher, and he was kind of he he wasn't the best teacher, and if you ask around, a lot of people kind of didn't like him. Just I think in the way of his style of teaching or the way he like I think it was mostly his notes. Like you really couldn't learn much from him. Like I felt like he was one of those teachers that like knows the step and he kind of expects you to know it, but then you're like, okay, like you can stop eating your own ass out because like we don't know, and like we can't eat our own asses out because like hi, we're new to this. So I mean, I was pretty good in math in like middle school and stuff. Like I could find like the geometrical plane of like my vagina or something, but I really couldn't figure out like what the hell I was doing. So it was very hard like that. And I was just like, okay, like, like these notes don't really help. Like, it was like literally like he draws like a circle. Like, it could have been like his wife's cervix or something, like on the board. And then, like, you're just like, okay, like if little Susie is like over here selling weed on corner B and like Jamaica Jackson is like, I don't know, on corner C, like rolling blunts on her asshole again, like, what is like the angles or something, like how much distance is it, and you just be like, it doesn't make sense. Like it'd just be like that, and then like I don't know, the notes would be like A is this and B is that, and like the distance between this is that, like I don't know, like slope or whatever. Like I forgot all about math, and I had like a crazy math semester in college. So if you want to hear about that, like this video or leave a comment down below. But basically, it was just like the most blandest, not so helpful basic, I guess, notes that you can really say. And I was just like, okay. And then I think I lasted, I want to say just like the first semester of college. I mean, of college, of high school. But I think I kind of got out probably a little bit before winter. I'm not completely sure. But I know I was just like, okay, like this bitch is like, no. And then like he also did like Serena Williams classes, like he was teaching that also on the side, and I think he was kind of just very much invested in that. And he also does like stuff on like the news, like I don't know, he like does like I don't know, like when it rains or something. I don't know. People have seen him on the, I've never seen him, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. Maybe I have. I don't know. But basically, I was just like, okay, like like this class isn't for me. Like him, like I think as a teacher, because I remember asking like, can I have like the same class, with, like a different teacher? Like, no, you have to go down. And I was like, so I took a regular, and this bitch was the craziest bitch you could ever know. Like, she probably was like doing heroin like before she walked in, and like not only would she mix vodka in her coffee, but she also like I don't know, like she had to like snort some cocaine on like the teacher's lounge or something because she was so hyper. Like there was never a time that she was not hyper. Like she was never like sad, and like if she was like quiet, like she was like tapping her foot or like making weird noises like "Arr." And like she had this thing that was like she always said, and if you know the class or whatever, she would always scream like "Holy Toledo" or something, and it was so scary because I mean I didn't know because I mean the class was already established, and I think that was like a conjured up class because like all the people who really weren't like getting it, like we were all kind of stupid, but like we needed like I don't know. But basically she was very very crazy. She was like the crazy white lady. Like she should have been in last week's or the week before story time or something, but like was very very hyper, and like I don't know. I remember the first day that I walked in, like she was like, "Oh, like sit wherever you want." And I was like, "Okay, I'll sit here." And she's like, "No, sit over here." And okay, like there's like a row of desks. So like there's like a row of desks, and then there's this one desk by itself, like the front row desk, and I was like basically right next to her. And like she's like, "You can sit here," and I was like, "No." And then she's like, "Yes, you are." And I was like, "Oh gosh." And I was just like, well, damn it. And I'm the kind of person, like, when something, like, weird happens, like, confrontational, or I just get nervous, or any, like, little questioning, so to speak, like, my face just gets really red. And I'm pretty sure it was, like, redder than the devil's dick pit at that point. But I was just like, okay. And then, basically, we took, like, our first, like, test, or I don't know what they were really doing in that class, because it's, like, You know, sometimes like they're a week ahead, they're a week behind, or like they're just doing their own thing. I think her class was like doing the own thing, like they say. And we took this thing, and basically I did not answer anything because we had not like done that, or I don't know, maybe he didn't teach that good in the previous class that I had switched out of. So basically, they took a 4 question thing. I don't know. And then she was basically going around. She was like, "Oh, like, what do you think you got on this test or whatever and stuff?" And everybody was like, 100, 100, 100. And I was just like, I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you think you got? Because I'm like so honest to the point that like I'm just like, no, like that's not what I made. Sometimes that is my downfall, I suppose. It's like just take the free fucking 100. But I was just like, no, you know, I was like a scared little bitch. It's like if you put a fucking squirrel in the corner of a cage and you're like sticking a probe up its asshole, like you just don't really know what's going on, and like everything's a big shock, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So it was basically so much like that. And I was just like, oh, like, I think, like, I got, like, an 80, 85. And she's like, not 100. And I was like, no. And then, like, I just wrote down, like, random scribbles on my test because, again, like, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was just like, okay, like, this math isn't for me. Like, whoever thought, like, I don't know, like, Pythagoras was probably, like, some lonely bitch. Like, he just thought, like, oh, you know, like, let's make A squared and B squared. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, you know, like, if you think about it, like, that's some, like, weird witchcraft Ouija board kind of shit. And you're just like, how the hell do we get numbers out of this? Like, this has to be, like, the devil's, like, arithmetic, literally. So, basically, that was just that day. And then as the class went on, she would tell us about how she would like yell at her kids. She had a really loud voice. And she would like yell at her kids. And one time, like, I remember she said like her husband got mad because like she didn't tell him that they were doing like the walkway or something. And like the people came and he was still at the house. I don't know, some weird stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe her husband beats her and she just like takes like her life out on us by like yelling random crazy things. And she would always be singing. I remember she was singing that one Drake and Rihanna song. And then she's like, isn't that song in your head? And I think it's like, I will take care of you. Something like that. I forgot how the song goes. But she was always singing that one. She was always like, diamonds in the sky shine bright like a diamond. And she was always doing that. It was kind of like the fun thing. Then after a while for me, it kind of got annoying because I was like, okay, like this bitch is really crazy. Like, she like needed like to check into like a mental institute and like, you know, be like, okay, like I think she's a little crazy. I think math is like her religion, so to speak, or whatever. And she was always just, I think, just loud and in a way a little bit obnoxious, but not too much. Like, she was a very good teacher. Like, I went from like a low grade to like a high A, and I was just like, okay, like this bitch is crazy. Like, this bitch is crazy. Like, I don't know what kind of like little witchcraft she does on us, but like we really knew what we were doing in that class, and I think we were like the best class out of the whole school at that time. Don't really know. But basically, I think my sophomore year, I don't know if I touched upon him. I'm pretty sure I did in the either the crazy white man story or I'm pretty sure I touched upon it, not really. But this was basically geometry. And supposedly, like, if you're good at algebra or, like, you really love algebra, you're gonna hate geometry. If you love geometry, you know, vice versa. Like, if you love one, you're not really gonna like the other. I don't really know. I felt like that was kind of true for me and maybe, like, a select number of people. But basically, when I went into that class, I was like, okay, whatever. And he had, like, this really creepy, like, voice. He sounded like when turtles have sex and, like, like I felt like that was his voice all the time. Like not saying like my voice is like some kind of like good talking Christina Aguilera voice, but like you know. And I was just like, okay, like this guy is like odd, and he was very short. He was kind of like a Muppet or like a Smurf. Like I don't really know. And it was like an interesting classroom. But one thing that really annoyed the hell out of me was he had like this little thing that he wrote on the board and it was called Reflection Club or something like that. Like I thought you just stare at yourself in the mirror like, you know, like you're vain or something like John Benet Ramsey, but then like you end up with a bashed in skull and you're like stepped in like your parents' like, I don't know, basement. But no, that wasn't the case. So he basically would like write your name and you would have to like go, I think before or after school and like reflect on what you did wrong. I don't know, some like weird bullshit like that. So, you know, the class was fun. A lot of people get in it. Like, a lot of people were annoying in that class. And, like, we had, like, the real Suicide Squad members in that class. If you want to see a story time on that, please let me know. But I was just like, okay, like, you know, like people are, like, eating each other's asses. People are fisting each other in the corner. Like, one day, and then, like, someone is, like, yanking their pubes out one by one and, like, measuring how long they are or something. I don't know. It's really weird like that. And then, of all things, like literally the whole room was going crazy and he was kind of just like standing there like for a while. And then my friend behind me asked, you probably seen her in the vlog of Six Flags and something else, but basically she asked me to throw away her water bottle. I threw away her water bottle and it's like literally like I was sitting like that front row desk like at the door, but the trash can was like right there. It's like literally like an arm's length away, so to speak. And I just like threw it away. Like I didn't talk or anything. She's like, "Can you throw it?" I'm like, Yeah. So like I turn around, grab it, and I throw it, and then I see my name right on the like the board, like reflection club. Everyone's like, oh, like everybody stops, like no one's fisting each other, no one's eating each other's ass out. Like it's just a shock to everyone. It's kind of like I guess like when Anne Frank heard the words as she was like upstairs writing in her journal, like and then like she basically realized like, hey, I'm fucked. Like those were the words that I heard basically, and I was just like, what? Like I just looked at the board like I literally just threw a water bottle. Like I did like an act of kindness for someone. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I was like, little Miss Two Top over here is like fisting herself in the corner. Someone is like burning out cigarettes on their vagina. Like someone's measuring their pubes. Like you don't like of all things, like you don't really know who to like put in reflection club. Like obviously those kids needed medication and stuff, but like me, I was just like I threw away a water bottle for someone. Like it made no sense to me, but basically I got like in trouble. I never went. Like I remember we like fought it. Me and my friend was like, "Yeah, I don't think you should get it because like you threw away a water bottle." And some bitch had the nerve to be like, "I don't know why you're complaining. You should just go." But this bitch is like, "I'm so blunt and I'm so this and blah blah blah." Like I don't know. She's just a little bitch. Like she's that person who's like, "I'm so like opinionated and stuff," but like she's just like a little short penguin looking asshole. So she was just like, "You should just like not even complain and just go. Like it's not this." But one time she got it, she's like, I can't go and like this and I have this like I don't know like she has the bowling team and like her dad like molested the whole bowling team. I don't know, it's weird, like he has sex with the bowling team and stuff like hey like hole in one or whatever bowling goes by. And I was just like, okay, like this bitch is like one who like should be talking, right? And then like he erased my name and stuff. It's like don't let it happen again. I'm just like, well, what the hell did I do? Throw away a water bottle? Like what the fuck? Like I can like fist myself, but if I throw away a water bottle, like all hell breaks loose. Like I was just like, no. But that was the weird thing. And then that class was also the same year as the first story time that I did, where I basically got my tonsillectomy and I think another procedure or something. I don't know. I remember I was like really sick, but that was like the highlight of my sophomore year. And I missed like 2 weeks, but like missing 2 weeks was like missing a month in that school. So basically there was just a lot of stuff going on. And it was the worst time to really miss because like the STAR test, which is like the state mandated test, I'm pretty sure you guys have that where you live, unless you go to like a private school, I guess. I don't really know. And it was like around that time and like around tutoring, and I wasn't the best. I mean, I was doing okay and stuff, but there's also I think projects and some other things like that that were kind of in between like this weird huge packet that we got and like bookwork and stuff. So basically, I was like fucked. I came back. I got most of it done and anything like that. I was just like, okay, like let me do what I can. Like he was like, okay, like do what you can. Like I'll take that as a grade. And sometimes like how I learned with the other teacher is like they say one thing, but then they go off on another, and then you're just like overall like you're just fucked. Like they just I don't even know. It's messed up. So basically, we were doing that and everything like that. And I'm like trying to get all this done. I come back. I'm like, I still haven't finished the packet. I was doing the bookwork because that's due first. And I was trying to do like these little project stuff and like that. Because it was like a group project packet at the same time. So I was like, oh, like I need to like meet with my group members and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, okay. Like they're always like, that's all on you. You're just like, bitch, I asked you. So that was just like out of the way and stuff. And then one thing is like for the next year, like I don't know if you guys do this at your classes, like you choose your classes. I mean, you really don't. Like they basically tell you what to sign up for. Like the only thing you sign up for is like 2 classes, really. That's like of your free will. And I was just like, okay, like like I guess I'm gonna go to like I don't know what comes after geometry, like algebra 2 or something like that, obviously. So he was basically like, yeah, like you're not gonna get it because like you have a low grade, and I was like, what the hell? Like the only reason like I in my mind that I was like, okay, like my grades are bad or like whatever is because like one, you're like you're not that great of a teacher, and then two, also like it was just I don't know, like hi, I missed like 2 weeks basically, and I had to do all this before like the state test and this and that, so like I had a lot of work to catch up on. So I was like, I kind of felt it unfair that that was gonna happen, but it's like, hey, what can you do? Like someone uses their teeth on your dick, so you can't really do anything. So I was just like, you know what, fine, whatever. And then that moves us into my junior year. So my junior year, she was the most interesting teacher, aside from like the crazy loud white lady who was probably like has like a dildo on full blast, like attached to a car battery and like snorting cocaine. She was very, I think, misleading to say the least at the very beginning because she was very like, hi, like I'm so and so. Like she was like anal armadillo. Like she basically fisted herself. She basically stuck food up her ass and everything like that. And I think she had a kid or something like that. I know she was kind of like fresh out of college or something like that. So she was telling us like, yeah, like I'm fresh out of college. She's like in college, like every teacher brings that up. Like when you're in college, like you're not gonna have like fill in the blank notes. You're not gonna do like a class notes. I mean, that's kind of a lie because you still kind of do that. At least we did it in my math class and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, you're like a lying little bitch. Like I don't know who the fuck hurt you, but like you're a liar. So we move on to like I guess the year progresses and stuff. And I don't know if she was like moody, she hated her job, she hated the school or something like that, or maybe she was just like getting fat and she realized that her husband really didn't like her, or maybe her kid doesn't like her because I know she kind of had like a new kid, but not really, and stuff like that. So she was like nice and stuff again, and then she just like turned on us. Like she just hated our class. Like it came from like like oh this is like an okay class. Like she's cool, she's young, she's hip like us. To like okay this bitch hates us. Like none of us want to go to this class anymore. Like she obviously doesn't like us. Like she doesn't want to talk to us or something like that. And like it just became like very she became very defensive, I guess, in a way. I don't know. It was weird. Like she was very like at you for any little thing. So she just started like, just getting mad at people and this and that. And I think she was kind of that teacher, like, even though she was young, like, she, like, got mad, but she never, like, was, like, those older teachers be like, oh, like, you're going to the principal's office or something like that. So, we were an okay class for the most part, but I do remember one instance. Like she was like putting like a carrot up her ass or something. Like, I don't know, like she wanted to be vegan or whatever. And then I remember we were doing like something like when you have like two equations in parentheses and like like you do that. I forgot everything. I just had it last fall. But basically that was like the first time like you're kind of introduced to it in high school, I guess. But it was like a remedial math course. And she was like, yeah, we do this and we call it the monkey face. And I was like, oh, it's like the Debbie Debs face or something like that. And she's like, that's so rude. She's like, I should send you to the office. And obviously at that time I was going to be with that teacher that I really didn't like who became like the VP assistant or whatever from like the first story time. So I was like, oh, hell no, like this bitch. Like, like go stick beats up your asshole and make juice or something. Like I was just like, you were not sending me to that hoe. Like, like that. It's just, I don't like him. And a lot of people know like I don't like that guy. So basically she was just like, that's what I mean. That's like the whole class she kept like, she was so belligerent. I'm like, throwing that in my face. She was like, that is so rude, like you're so mean and blah 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 and like a Debbie face and like this and that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like shove a Twinkie up your asshole and like sweeten up a bit, like life's tough. But like not in a way like I was being like mean on purpose, like like you're just like when someone just keeps like bringing something up just to bring it up, like you're just like okay, like. And it's like they say, like out of all the things I've said in that class, also like I guess like Debbie face, like you're just like really bitch, like really, like you're gonna be like fisting yourself like a potato, like an onion, like making like ass soup, but then like you're just like, it was weird. And then I think like near the end of the year, like she just hated us, and I was like, yeah, I think she got happy just because the year was ending. Like I felt like our class in general, like a lot of people just didn't like us. I more or less blame it on the real Suicide Squad members that we had in that class. But then again, it's just like you never know. Maybe I was a problematic kid, maybe I wasn't. I don't know. But I was just like, all I know is that she stuck food up her ass. And she had like a temper, so like she was on a period. Maybe that's how she plugged it up. Like Carrie, they throw tampons, but her, she threw a fucking zucchini and an eggplant. I don't really know. But then we go on to senior year. So, senior year, I had the first teacher. I remember looking at like my schedule and I was like, it's this guy again. So it was the first teacher that I had my freshman year before I switched out. I was kind of like, ugh, like he's not a good teacher, and like his notes kind of suck, and it's kind of like half self-taught. Like you kind of ask him for help, but he's kind of like, yeah, okay, bye, yeah. No. And I don't know, like also like when I talk to teachers, I'm not the best person because I just like want to end the conversation really quick. I don't know, I get like really like anxious talking to teachers. So I was like, okay, like, we're going to deal with this Smurf in a suit again who appears on TV. So I was just like, okay, let's do this. Like, senior year, like, like, no one cares anymore. I know it's algebra 2. And I think there's a lot of, I think, juniors in there. And I want to say it's sophomore, but I really don't think so. So there are some, like, lower classmen with us. And, like, we kind of felt stupid because we were, like, the only 6 seniors. So we sat in a corner for one point. And then there was like this random girl, I think, like she would always like vomit or something. Like she smelled like ass and vomit. Like she would eat her vomit. Like that's what people said. And I was like, oh my God. Because like that's not our class, like we're seniors and we're like, y'all's class is weird. So it was just very awkward, I guess, being in my classroom, but not really. So we had our corner. I think there was literally only 6 of us. And again, in the corner, minded our own business. We would overhear a lot of like weird things from people and stuff like that. So behind me was this random girl who's so narcissistic and self-obsessed with herself. And then in front of me was one of my friends, and in front of him was one of another friend that I knew. And then next to me was my friend Kayla and stuff like this. And I forgot who the other person was, like, behind that person. I think it was, like, a lower classman. And I think the person in front of her was, that was another guy who kind of had, like, a really big laugh and stuff like that. So we just kind of had our own little fun, you know, like, we were just doing this and that. And then I think we got in trouble one time and he says, okay, like, we're gonna move, like, a lot of people are not listening and blah, blah, blah. I mean, we really wouldn't listen, but, like, we still knew what we were doing. Like, we were good at this and, like, we were getting good grades and stuff. There's only a couple people who would fail, like, certain things. Like, me, I remember, like, I failed, like, a test or two and I was just like, well, shit, you know? That's because that part was, like, really hard, and I think we had a sub that week or something, so I was just like, you know, it's the sub's fault. It's not my fault, bitch. But basically we were just like, okay, like, you know, like, whatever, we're gonna be moved and stuff. So we got it all moved, and I really don't think I was moved too much. I was moved closer to the board, and I was just like, watch this be a repeat of, like, the first time that I was, like, close to the board and stuff like this. Obviously my freshman year, my sophomore year, but, like, I was just like, watch this be a repeat. Like, I'm gonna get in trouble or something. I never did. But there's this math project. I'm pretty sure if you were subscribed at the time, you saw, like, our little music video that we made and the song that we made. It was fun and stuff, but I was just like, oh my gosh. I was just like, I do not want to do this. So, basically, that was just done. I was like, swept under the rug. We're like, we never talk about this again. You know, because I was just like, this, like, annoying school projects that you're just like, like, when you have to make a video for, like, I feel like I'd be more open to now, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to do it. So that was, like, weird. And also, with his notes, they were basically the exact same shit. It's like, okay, like, little Belinda's over here, like, getting a sex change. Like, over here, we have, like, HRT replacement, hormone replacement therapy. And then, like, little Ashley is, like, over here, like, scissoring herself and her friend. Like, what's the distance between them, and find the angle of the triangle. And you're just like, what? Like, it was just like, okay, like, these things don't make sense. So then we moved into, I think it was like the end of the year stuff. Um, we didn't have finals because we were seniors, so we were graduating. But the other people, I think they had a packet to do, and I think there was a sub also around that time. I was like, hey, like, you guys have to work. I'm like, okay, bitch, like, we're graduating. We have to do this. Like, he told us and stuff. And I think that sub was kind of, like, very adamant and, like, you guys have to do this. Like, you're not just gonna sit around and do nothing, which we were. We were, like, working on other classes stuff. Because, again, if you saw last week or the weeks before story time with the crazy white ladies, you would know, like, whose work we were probably working on, typing essays. So that was just weird. And it was pretty cool and stuff like that. And I guess he was like, yeah, seniors, like, you know, college and stuff. We're like, yeah. And obviously college, and I'm like, fuck, like, it's so expensive. So that was kind of mostly it. Those were, like, the crazy math teachers and stuff like that. But basically, like, Smurf in a suit and, like, the weird turtle sex voice person and the crazy white lady on cocaine that's, like, fisting herself. And then also the math teacher who stuck food up her ass and had a kid and who probably got fatter over the years. But anyways, I really hope you liked the story time. I felt like it wasn't as, like, crazy as I thought it was going to be. But, I mean, at the same time, it was pretty fun to tell. I don't know. But if you like these videos, please subscribe. Please comment, like, rate, share, and everything like that. But please subscribe if you do like this. And also, I don't know, just tell me what else you want to see in the comments down below. Fragrance reviews, obviously doing Mr. Robot until the season ends. But anything other like that, like a vlog or maybe a Q&A. If you like, I want to do a Q&A. Obviously, that giveaway has been postponed because when I ordered back on May 28th or 24th or the 18th, I got an email. They said it's not really coming until, like, whenever they have it or whatever. And I couldn't get my account charged back because, like, oh yeah, you can get a refund. But, like, hi, like, where is it? Like, bitch. But anyways, if you do want to see more story times about high school, please let me know down below. But again, please like, rate, share, comment, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. But anywho, I want to say hi to Rami Malek. Stay safe and God bless you, little queen. So, hi, Rami Malek.